Welcome to Let's Chat with Homebuyers Centre. Here are some snippets from the episode.
I would say a mortgage broker is probably the most important person in your journey.
Most important? Oh,
Sorry. I'm a bit biased. Basically.
Jazz helps us get the money and I help people spend it. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Basically.
Even better.
I personally think that the broker should be reaching out to you and that you shouldn't have to do any of the work.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a really good sign of a good broker. This is literally just getting them in the gym, doing the repetitions, so that when they're ready for the main event, they're ready to go.
I love all these analogies. Hello and welcome back to episode 3. We're going to chat all things mortgage brokers. I'm Tash and I'm here with Jazz, who is a mortgage broker from Resolve Finance, and Nunzio, who is a new homes consultant with Homebuyers Centre. So to start off with, what actually is a mortgage broker?
I would say a mortgage broker is probably the most important person in your journey.
Most important? Oh,
Sorry. I'm a bit biased. But no, seriously, we do actually work together very closely. But a mortgage broker is that person that you go to when you want to understand the finance side of buying a home and if you can actually do it. Behind the scenes, what my actual job would be is understanding who the client is as a person, what their goals are, what their financial situation is, and then helping them find a suitable solution, whether that be they're ready to go now and we just need to find what lender to go to with, or they might not be ready yet and I help them with that journey of what kind of goals do we need to hit to then become what I call finance ready.
And then it's my duty to then go, okay, cool, this is what I can work with, this is the land, this is the build, and then create it accordingly from there.
So Jazz helps you borrow the money and then you help people build the homes.
Basically.
Jazz helps us get the money and I help people spend it. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Basically.
Even better. So Jazz, you work for a company called Resolve Finance. Who are they?
So Resolve Finance is a leading mortgage broking company, but also franchise in Australia. We help with a lot of different types of lending and different home loans. I specialize specifically in the home loan side of things. And then as a company as well, we obviously specialize in construction, which is why we are partnered with Homebuyers Centre.
Do you guys communicate throughout the process and keep each other updated?
Daily.
That's so helpful to save on admin time, not needing to follow up yourself with a separate broker if your broker and new homes consultant can just be chatting together.
Yeah, no, it's great. And the beauty with the synergy is sometimes external brokers may not be accustomed to construction lending. So when it comes back to us, we kind of give them a few more ins and outs of what else they could do to get into their home, which really helps because I find there's quite a contrast between focusing on construction lending and your traditional lending, which is like, established properties or car loans or things like that.
Yeah, so Resolve is like the expert in construction loans because you've partnered with Homebuyers Centre.
Definitely, yeah. There's a lot of niches to construction loans. They're not scary, but they're definitely just little things, tips and tricks that not all brokers know. So being a construction specialist definitely helps from the client's perspective because they know that they can trust you.
Brokers sound very helpful. Is there an extra cost to use them?
Surprisingly, no. Most brokers do not charge a fee. We're completely complimentary. The way that Resolve works is we actually get paid a commission post-settlement after the home loan has already settled. You might see other brokers externally charging fees for pre-approvals, and then once you've found the property or you've found the builder, then they might refund the upfront fee back to you, but traditionally Resolve don't charge any fees.
Completely free.
Yeah.
Do you have to use a broker if you're building with Homebuyers Centre?
No, not at all. Nor are you obligated to work with one of our brokers, even if you've got your finance sort of information back. There's absolutely no obligation. But yeah, no, don't have to use Resolve.
What are the benefits if you do choose to use a mortgage broker, especially with a new build?
So if you decide to go with a mortgage broker over a bank, we have access to a lot more products and lenders than your traditional bank. If you think about it, you walk into your local bank and you're only being provided what they have available, at that desk at that time. Whereas using a broker, we've got access to over 40 different lenders on our panel, and each of those 40 have their own unique products. So we suit the product to the client, not the other way around.
Perfect. So you get to choose from all the different options instead of just one or two that might be a bit more expensive or not suitable to you.
Definitely. But then also, Resolve brokers are actually your finance partner for life. So what that means is you don't come to us just to get the home loan and then we kind of take our hands off. We are there throughout your whole journey. And part of that is keeping in touch constantly. You might not know, but lenders are constantly bringing out new initiatives, new products. They are trying to help first home buyers as well get into the market. So part of working with your Resolve broker throughout that whole journey is they'll be able to keep you updated with all of those new initiatives.
Amazing. Do people have to get in touch with their brokers to find these out, or will you contact them?
I personally think that the broker should be reaching out to you and that you shouldn't have to do any of the work.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a really good sign of a good broker. Absolutely.
What's the time frame we should look at? Is it like every 6 months, every 12 months?
Each broker has their own kind of process. If I have somebody that hasn't bought a home yet and we are just focusing on budgeting and saving, I usually get in touch every 3 months. Home buyers also have an amazing program called My Home Plan, which essentially is to help people that are on that construction journey save, budget, hit their goals. And part of the My Home Plan team is they reach out to the client monthly.
Okay, amazing. And what's My Home Plan exactly? It's a savings plan?
Yeah, so My Home Plan is for the customers that want to get into their home. They are maybe just not ready financially just yet. So it's basically a finance program, like a personal coach to help them get ready and fit for the journey ahead. So we kind of tailor our program for you rather than say, come back to us when you're ready, because most people don't know when they're ready or how to get ready. This is literally just getting them in the gym, doing the repetitions so that when they're ready for the main event, they're ready to go.
I love all these analogies. Yeah. Is this a free service as well?
It's initially when it comes through, but if you do come on, it is a paid service. However, that very small amount that is put towards it is part of your deposit.
Okay.
So there's no fee on top of it. Actually, when you are ready to buy a home, it acts as your deposit.
So many amazing services to use.
Yeah.
Yes.
You mentioned construction loans. How do they work?
Really good question. So you've got your traditional home loan, which is usually used for the established properties, and then you've got a construction home loan. And the way that it works behind the scenes is a little bit different. Some banks will do land and construction together as a package. Other banks will actually split it between one loan for land, one loan for construction. So me being the broker, it's really important that I know which banks do what process. And then I guess from the client's point of view, how it's different. First of all, they might have those two loans sitting there rather than just the one. But from their point of view, it's more of the construction phase. During construction, the loan is actually drawn down in stages called progress payments. So let's say you've got a $500,000 house and land loan together. It won't just be $500,000 on the first day of settlement. It's that 500 will be slowly increasing over time as the actual property is being built.
So is that the pro of splitting it into two rather than just having one, or can you do that with just the one as well?
It really depends what the bank's process is. Some of them you have to do the split between land and construction. Others you don't. But it does come down to how the, I guess, client wants their bank account set up too. Some people get really frustrated with having two home loans. They just prefer to consolidate them. So that's also a question that we ask when doing the finance side.
I've heard a misconception floating around that sometimes it's better to go to a bank rather than a mortgage broker. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm a little bit biased, obviously, because I'm a mortgage broker. But I just think if you've got someone there that is offering a complimentary service where you've got a range of different lenders and products available, why not use it?
Definitely. Let's talk a little bit more about different types of loans. So there's construction loans. What other types of loans are there?
So you've got your generic, just basic home loan for established properties, pretty, I guess, vanilla. Then you've got your construction loans. Then you've also got guarantor loans. You can also have loans for people that are upselling, downselling, trying to move properties. There's a lot of, I guess, loans available out there depending on your goal and your scenario. And then that also leads into, we've got loans based off the interest rates. We've got a variable loan, we've got a fixed loan, we've got investment loans, owner-occupier loans.
Okay, so much to dive into.
The list goes on.
Yeah, so what's a guarantor loan?
Really good question. So with a guarantor loan, the idea of it is you're buying a property, but you can't come up with a 20% deposit, or there might just be no other options available. And you've got someone who's usually a close family member, immediate is preferred, that is able to guarantee that you've got the ability to actually afford the whole home loan. So the easiest way to think about it is you buy a $500,000 home, 80% of the home is secured by the house that you're buying. 20% is secured by the guarantor. So basically guaranteeing the 20% deposit that you would usually require, which, easiest way to put it, you just don't need to put any cash down.
Perfect. And then the guarantor is responsible for any payments that you miss.
Yes. If you were to default on your home loan, the financial responsibility falls back onto the guarantor.
Mm-hmm. And then you also mentioned fixed and variable.
Yes.
What is a variable interest rate or a variable interest rate loan?
Yes. So a variable interest rate, the easiest way to think about it is you're riding the wave of the market. So if interest rates go up, more than likely yours is going to go up. If the rates go down, then yours is going down. It provides flexibility, and it also means that you can make extra repayments as well.
Mm-hmm. And then what's fixed?
A fixed rate is when you're locking yourself into a certain rate. It's usually for a time period between 1 to 5 years. Most banks do 1 to 5 years. But because you're fixing yourself in, the pro is that you know exactly what your monthly home loan repayments will be. The con is that you don't get to ride that wave. You just fixed yourself in for 1 to 5 years.
So we also want to pay off our home loans as well. What are the different repayment types?
Sure. So there's 2 common repayment types. The first one is principal and interest. The idea of principal and interest is that you're paying off the principal, which is the original amount that you borrowed. So let's say 500K again, you're paying off the 500K. But at the same time, you're also paying off the interest accrued on that 500K. So you're paying off the 2 at the same time. Now, on the flip side, the other type of repayment is interest only. So as you'd expect, that means you're just paying off the interest. You're not lowering that 500K balance at all.
Who actually decides the interest rate?
So the Reserve Bank of Australia are the ones that set what the cash rate is. The cash rate is like a price tag of how much it costs to actually borrow money, like a home loan, for example. Then what happens with that cash rate is it's usually passed on to the banks, because if it becomes more expensive for them, then it becomes more expensive for the consumer too. From May 2022, there have been 13 interest rate rises.
Wow. So it's the RBA who set the cash rate and then the banks set the interest rates from that.
Correct. Yes. It's kind of like the RBA is setting a standard and the banks are passing on that standard to the consumers.
Okay. Setting a standard, I like. Jazz, what are your top 3 tips for someone who is thinking about starting the home buying process?
I would say my first tip is just to speak to a mortgage broker earlier than you probably think you need to. Mm-hmm. My second tip would be focusing on that deposit and savings. My third tip would be research. I personally love going on realestate.com and searching in my location to see what is in my budget. So I tell all of my clients to make sure that the budget that they're actually looking at is realistic and they can actually get houses in that price range.
What's one of your biggest home buying lessons or tips that you want to leave us with?
We're here to make life easy for you guys. I know when I first started out, I didn't have the support and the network that there is available now. And many years ago, I made a mistake in property. And since then, I've learned and used the tools that I've learned through this to kind of educate not only myself, but my clients to not make that same mistake.
I wish I had you guys on my team when I first bought my property. My broker was not this helpful, and you guys sound very helpful.
Thanks. Well, whenever you feel like buying another one,
Yes.
we're here to go.
This has been a great chat on all things mortgages. Next episode, we're going to deep dive into finances. So we'll talk about pre-approval, LMI, lots of fun things. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This information does not consider your personal needs and financial circumstances, and you should consider whether it is appropriate for you. Lender terms and conditions apply and may vary. All financial services provided by Resolve Financial Solutions Pty Ltd, trading as Resolve Finance, ABN 65079545 378, Australian credit license number 385487.